If you're gonna do it, come on, you flea-dicked bastard! Get it over with!
Women.
A knight in magnificent armor wakes up puzzled somewhere in the woods. He remembers falling asleep while playing a video game the night before and has now awoken, looking like his gaming character. He decides to test his talents and discovers that he can perform all of the assaults and magic spells that his game character could. Only they're considerably more powerful. He can now employ skills that he couldn't use before because he was hungry. He realizes he has no money or food and chooses to use a short-range teleportation spell to travel to a town. After seeing his reflection in a river, he becomes aware he has the appearance of a skeleton because he chose the skeleton avatar while playing the game. And every human would mistake him for a monster. He chooses to keep his face hidden at all times and draws little attention to himself as possible when he arrives in the town of Luvierte. He realizes as he walks around, he needs to find work in a back alley. He overhears a pink-haired elf woman arguing with someone who is overjoyed to see a real elf. He tries to approach her but gets lost in the crowd as he enters a mercenary guild. To escape suspicion, the knight approaches the guild head and requests a mercenary license. The knight begins to act like a noble paladin in order to persuade the guild master. He requires the license. Despite appearing wealthy, he must hunt 3 species in order to obtain the license. Later, in a forest someplace, the knight battles 2 boars when an orc confronts him. Excited to witness his first orc, the knight chops him in half with 1 slash of his sword. Later, on his way back to town, the knight comes across a bunch of robbers who assaulted a coach and killed all the guards before preparing to attack the 2 women who are hiding in the bushes. The knight is hesitant to assist since he is dubious he can handle so many people at once. Finally, he makes his decision and appears among the robbers, killing 3 of them in 1 swipe. The remaining try to flee, but the knight defeats them with a flying sword slash. When the 2 of them are not looking, the women introduce themselves as Lauren, a royal from the Luvierte family, and her attendant Rita. While they are returning together, the knight steals the bandits' loot. Even if he doesn't inform anyone, the knight introduces himself as Ark. He recalls his game character's backstory. His character was a cursed knight who was wandering throughout the land in search of a cure for himself. Back in town, Ark obtains a mercenary license, killing the guild master, the boars, and Orky, and gleefully settling into a room at an inn. Ark orders a lavish feast for himself and thoroughly enjoys it. He comes to the conclusion that this isn't just a game, but real life, and he looks forward to his future journeys. Laughing loudly one day, Ark agrees to help a female select therapeutic herbs because he doesn't want to bring too much attention to himself. He made the decision to only take low-profile employment like that while entering a calm village. At first, he meets a girl named Marka. While they're walking through the forest, Marka tells Ark that her mother works hard every day to pick medicinal herbs, and now she wants to help her by doing it herself. While they are traveling, Ark senses is a creature watching them, but it turns out it's just a small, green fox with many tails. Noticing it's hurt, Ark heals it with a spell fully recovered. The fox does not want to abandon Ark, so he brings it with him, specifically upon reaching a clearing. Ark and Marka finding the plant they were looking for. Ark discovers that a massive dragon-like monster looms behind Marka before it can harm her, rescues her, and attacks the monster while escaping its deadly breath. He is up against a massive basilisk, a scary high-level monster. Ark manages to keep his ground against the basilisk, ducking and deflecting its sharp claws and lengthy tongue while continuing to block the basilisk's blows. Ark creates a massive sword of light beneath it and kills it in 1 hit. Astounded by his own power, Ark instructs Marka not to inform the people that he killed the basilisk so he doesn't stand out. He also observes a weird ring around the basilisk's ledge, but it disappears before he can study it. When they return to the village, Marka reunites with her mother, who was anxious, but is relieved nothing happened to her daughter at sunset. Ark and Marcus say their farewells, and Marcus' little sister gifts Ark a flower crown that night somewhere else. A squad of mates fights and barely manages to slay another enormous basilisk. They discovered the basilisk's corpse and are impressed when they notice it was slain in 1 hit. Back at the inn, Ark and Pan are enjoying their meal. Ark decides to embark on more difficult adventures in the future in order to aid more people in memory of Marcus. One night, Ark is pursuing a bunch of outlaws in a cave. A while has gone. After beating the bandits, and Ark discovers vaults filled with treasure and 2 empty cages in a regal palace. An attendant reports to the lord of the town of Dinto, a small fat guy named Triton. Triton is enraged because he ordered the bandits to assassinate Lauren and the basilisks to attack the area around Luvierte. and both of his plans failed. He was covertly employed by a man named Dakars, one of the Rodent Kingdom's princes. Dakars desires to seize control of Luvierte because it is strategically crucial for assaulting the Western Kingdom. Triton also oversees an illicit elf slave trade, which his son Yulden is currently escorting. A hooded woman ambushes the slaves at the cave arc. She assaults him viciously, but he manages to defend himself as her hood falls down. He remembers her as the pink-haired elfie he saw in town previously. Ark, the elf believes, is one of the bandits that took the elven children. She comes to help, but when she sees Panda, she stops. When she attacks, she realizes the panda is a spirit creature, and such creatures would never accompany a terrible person. When she realizes the Ark is in the hands of a bandit, she apologizes to him and tells him she came here to help the elves who had been kidnapped and sold into slavery. Art informs her he notices empty cages in the cave and offers to assist her in finding the elves, but she declines, stating that it is a matter that the elves must resolve before Art can say anything else. She departs later from the inn. Art decides to try again to find the pink-haired elf, as she is the first elf he has ever encountered. The next day, Art teleports around, looking for the elf woman. Pawn is exploring the elven forest when he senses something nearby. A gang of elf hunters apprehends a fugitive elf slave. They return her to her camp, where 3 more elves are caged. Triton's son, Yadelin, mercilessly threatens the escaping elf. Ark notices all of this while hiding in the bushes, but before he can act, the pink-haired elf appears and fights the elf hunters. Several hunters attack the pink-haired elf, but she easily defeats them all. Yadelin suddenly grabs the 4 caught elves as hostages, urging the pink-haired elf to stop attacking because she appears to be in danger. Ark appears from the bushes and knocks you out, allowing the pink-haired elf to complete her fight. They later discover that the captured elves wear moleting collars that drain their magical power. The pig-haired elf can remove them, but Ark easily undoes them and heals all of the elves' injuries. A couple of hooded elves enter and free the captive elves, who thank Ark before departing. The pink-haired elf identifies herself as Aryan and tells Ark she has never met a compassionate and powerful human like him who has made her believe she can trust him. Aryan wishes to hire Ark as a mercenary, and he agrees. The two of them journey to Dinto, where they encounter Danko. One of Aryan's elven comrades sitting in a dank informs them that he has discovered the location of a building in Dinto, where more kidnapped elves have been taken. They decide to wait until late at night to storm the building and rescue them. Art teleports the 3 of them to the roof of the building, and they sneak inside through a window going deeper. They are astonished to find corpses in several of the rooms, all of whom were killed in the same manner. So they divide and look. Another section of the structure, entering one of the chambers and seeing more corpses, Ark is assaulted by the ninja who is following him before he realizes the ninja is a woman with animal ears and a tail. The ninja realizes Ark isn't one of the bandits and apologizes to him, restarting Ark's mission to save the elves. She informs him that the most of them are imprisoned underground, with 2 held captive in the Lord's palace. She hands the scroll to Ark and exits via the window. Ark opens the scroll and discovers a contract for the purchase of elf slaves, rejoining Aryan and Danka, and the 3 of them notice the Lord of Dinto is mentioned in the pact. While they are conversing, a swarm of thugs barges in and attacks them. Aryan uses a spell to light her weapon on flames, easily defeating them. Finally, Ark and the others escape the imprisoned elves. Ark teleports everyone outside of town, while Danka stays with the rescued elves, Aryan, and Ark of the Lord's palace. They break in loudly and alert the guards, but they manage to conceal in time. They smash a wall and enter into the Lord's chamber, where they see Triton, Unilan, and the 2 kidnapped elves. Triton becomes enraged, but Aryan kicks him in the groin. While racing after a terrified Udelman Ark, he unintentionally discovers a hidden area. While the 2 kidnapped elves are beating up Triton, a bunch of guards enters the chamber, which Aryan overcomes with her flame sword and orders the 2 elves to go meet with Danka. Ark discovers the hidden room is full of gold, which he decides to take with him. After teleporting outdoors, Aryan praises Ark and compensates him for his mercenary labor. Since Ark has no other quest at the moment, Aryan offers him to accompany her to the Elf Kingdoms and continue assisting her in rescuing elves kidnapped by other humans. Ark becomes excited but doesn't show it, and decides to accompany her since in order to gain permission to enter the Elf Realms, he must meet with an Elf Elder. Ark claims he will never be able to remove his helmet, but Aryan promises if he shows her his face, she will not assault him. Ark takes off his helmet, and Aryan is taken aback by his skeletal appearance. He tells her instead of telling her the truth about being transported to this realm, he awoke in these places one day, looking like this. She recognizes he isn't an undead skeleton and declares her trust in him, promising to keep his true look hidden. They exchange handshakes and agree to continue working together. Carlin, the king of the rodent kingdom, speaks to his sons and daughter a few days later in Olab, the capital of the rodent kingdom. They are talking about the incident in Lord Triton's palace, but they don't know the specifics. The first prince asserts the elves are to blame for the catastrophe. The ruler of Dinto was previously accused of breaking the human-elf covenant by selling elves into slavery. Dakar, the second prince, is enraged, claiming that sex should not be used to charge aristocracy simply because the king believes an investigation should be done. Yuri Arna believes that if the reports about Triton are accurate, the elves may decide to terminate their trading agreements with Lungo, the only domain that does business with them. If someone from Dinto leads the elves to stop exchanging magical items and rune stones, the rodent kingdom will be held accountable, and tensions will increase. The king tells Yuri Arno to go to Limbo and make plans to meet with the elves on their way to the elf kingdoms. Through the forest, Arian and Ark arrive at a river, where they set up camp and spend the night. The next day, back at Olav, Yuri Arna converse with our attendant Ferna. She is worried. Sek is aware that Dekars is participating in the elf trade. Sek wishes to eradicate the automobiles in order for him or Yuri Arnett to succeed. Traveling through the forest Ark and Arian, the throne arrives at a large gate enclosed by palisades, leading to the elven village of Lalatoya. They approach a house inside a massive tree, and the elder, a remarkably young man named Dylan, greets them, along with his wife, Glenys Tuarks, who turns out to be Arian's parents. Entering the house, they converse over tea and dinner. Later, after Arian informs her parents of Ark's true appearance, he removes his helmet, and they all eat calmly together. That's it for this part, so let's wait for the next one to see how things go. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on the other entertaining anime videos. Peace out.